Hey guys, welcome back to Geared Forward. Today we're taking a look at a flashlight, specifically the Boruit V15. So let's get cracking straight away with a size comparison. So on the bottom we have our 58mm Swiss Army Classic, and on the top we have a 91mm. And something perhaps a little bit more relevant to flashlights in general, here we have a AA battery, a AAA battery, and just as a point of reference from actual flashlights, here we have an i5T and an i3T2. So getting on into the design of the flashlight, so here we have a translucent ABS plastic for the body with a anodized aluminium or aluminum head for the top, with 3 separate emitters for the primary lights and a variety of emitters in the side body. Now this is down as the black, but it comes out as this really nice smoky kind of plastic. It is available in a clear white as well, more similar to like a Rovio that kind of thing. Personally, I really like how this looks. I think it gives a nice overall look to the aesthetics whilst not hindering the side lights at all. So we have this head at the top, which is adjustable. We have 80 degrees of flex to that head. Coming down to the bottom, we have a magnet, and then this is actually a lanyard hole that I'm quite a fan of. It's large enough to accept a wide variety of cordage or straps, but it's also inline, so this will still tail stand very stably. And of course, when you're tail standing, you can still angle this to get wherever you want to light. And this does have a reversible clip so that you can put this onto the bill of a cap, which I'll get into again a little bit later. This is USB-C rechargeable, and we have a little waterproof flap here for the charging port. This is rated at IP67, so this will be able to hang out in the rain and whatnot without any issues. Now let's get ahead and go into the overall function and brightness and stuff like that. So this does have 2 buttons. This left button here is going to be working the front emitters, and the right button with the little lightning sign is going to be working the side emitters. This has momentary on only, so when you press and hold you get that turbo mode, and that's 1200 lumens. We don't have runtime for that just because it is momentary only. We can't permanently get into it like the other modes. To get into the normal modes, we just need to double press, at which point we'll be able to then step through just by pressing once. So on this brightest mode here, we have 400 lumens that will step down to 150 lumens. Now the runtime for this is 4 hours, but we don't have that's obviously the overall time. We don't have a time until it steps down from that 400. Coming down, we have 95 lumens for 5.5 hours, and then 50 lumens for 12, and finally a 12 lumen that will run for 46 hours. And as we have the 3 emitters here, this is actually quite floody overall. To turn it off, we just go ahead and hold again. And then to access the sides, we actually have a very similar arrangement. So if you press and hold, you're going to get a momentary turbo of this. They call it warm, but it's so warm it's basically orange, kind of like those old style streetlights. And then a double click will get us into it on permanently. This warm or orange mode will go for 35 lumens and 6.5 hours. If we press the step through again, we have 2 white emitters, and this will go at 50 lumens for 8.5. Step through again, we have a hard just red mode. Now that's 12 lumens, 6.5 hours. Flashing red will go for 19, and then we have an alternating blue-red flash for 9 hours. And again, turn it off just by holding down. There is some degree of mode memory, so if you come out of this in flashing, it should just go back into it in flashing. See? So the UI overall is fairly convenient. Momentary turbo is, I think, very useful. Although I would like to see a way to get into turbo for a longer duration. Now, to get into the overall pros, cons, that kind of thing, I will say this makes an absolutely excellent headlamp. The clip fits onto most caps quite well, and the fact that you have this 80 degrees of adjustment means that you can actually use this like a headlamp very well. Most headlamps have either some adjustability built into the head, or you can rotate them in the strap. So this works very well, and if you actually put this on the hat so that this is pointing upwards, you can use these side lights to kind of provide some diffused ambient lighting with some ceiling bounce. That actually works very well as well. In theory, you could have it pointing down and then use these as sort of a reading light. In my experience, they are both too bright and too close to your eyes to use them effectively this way, but that is something that you can try. And again, this adjustable head works well with this magnet, so you can angle where you want stuff to go. An example like that. So overall, this is a very versatile and flexible light, both in terms of the emitter options and then just how flexible you can move that light to where you need it to go. I also really like that, unlike some other brands where you have a single switch operating both sets of emitters, we have different separate switches. That makes it much more intuitive from a UI point of view in order how to do it. You don't have to remember how many clicks to get to the side emitters. You don't have to worry about accidentally turning on the side emitters. Instead, you just have separate buttons. They even have different indented symbols, so you can actually index which one you want to use quite easily. And overall, I think this is a very attractive looking light. I think it looks quite cool. Again, I do have a preference for this black version, but I think the clearer white version also looks quite nice. This retails for £30 or $33. However, as of the time of recording, it is on sale for £25 or $26, so you're also getting a lot of value here. It does have a included 1200 milliamp hour battery that's going to charge via that USB-C input. It takes about 4 hours to charge from flat. Not too bad at all. And I think this is an excellent EDC option, particularly if you do wear a hat or carry one around, just for sheer versatility. Now, in terms of where things could be perhaps improved a bit, this clip is just way too low. So let me see if we can use the manual to give you an idea here, preferably without ripping the paper. So this is how low it's going to come into your pocket, so you still have all of this above, and seeing as you also have the magnet sticking out, that could be a little bit of a pain. I would just prefer to see a little bit of a reshuffle where you have this port moved a little bit further down, then you have this clip moved up. I think that would improve it just a little bit. I also think that the momentary on is useful, but I would also like to see just a UI version to have it on just for a longer time. I would also like a way to get directly into moonlight from off. Now you can use the memory for that, but I do like a direct button sequence to get there, so you can just go to the lowest mode if possible. Overall, this is a very good flashlight. I do and have been enjoying using it. Now, this flat form factor is going to carry well in most pockets. However, it is a bit blocky in the hand. Some people are going to like that, some people aren't going to like it. For the price, you really can't go wrong. I do recommend this. I've not had any drops or anything to test the resistance, but I do think it would hold up to use quite well. And I think this is something that is going to hang around in my EDC. But that is something I do need to disclose, which I should have done at the beginning. Now, this was sent by Boruit themselves for me to check out. There will be a link down in the description for you to pick up one yourself if you want to. However, they have provided no monetary compensation. Oh, 1 second, we have a cat. And the cat's gone. So yeah, Boruit did send this along, but they haven't provided any financial compensation. They did not get any preview of this video, nor have they had any input into its content. This has all been my opinion, and I do genuinely think that this is a solid flashlight that I can recommend. The only other thing that I would say is perhaps a more easily recognizable name, as the V number thing kind of just makes it seem like you're going from old to new instead of just increasing in features and whatnot, but that's it really. But let me know what you think of this flashlight down in the comments below, or if you've tried out any of the Boruit models that you could recommend for me to try out for myself. Let me know down there, and whilst you're down there, I'd appreciate you hitting that like and subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel in a more direct fashion, please feel free to check out Patreon or the YouTube member program, to get you benefits like early access to videos and helps put new gear on the channel. Until next time, I've been Paul, and I'll see you, in the next video.